I'm pretty sure you're not missing out on your life, so don't worry. Some random dude says hi. He says, "Yo, what's up, my boys?" Perfect. Gromy Games does some good PvP videos with a laser. Oh, Gromy. Who's Gromy Games?
Gromy. I've not watched any of his videos,
Dude,
but he has commented quite a lot.
Me.
Not watched any of his videos,
Dude,
but he has commented quite a
me.
lot. Not watched any of his videos. Not watched any of his videos. Not watched.
Oh, who's Gromy Games?
Not watched any of his videos,
Dude,
but he has commented quite a lot.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you're not missing out on your life, so.
Hello pilots, and welcome back to another Eve Echoes PvP video. Today I'm going to be trying out some stuff with the Vexor II now that they've made some changes to its stats, and we're going to see how it does kind of in open PvP hunting like I like to do with my Fiend. Now, I haven't solidified the build yet, but I do have one tracking disruptor in the mid slots along with a scanner, a disruptor for long range tackle. We got 5 drones including the hammerheads and the Valkyries. We got long range medium missiles, a medium micro warp drive in the low slots, medium battery, medium armor repair, and a little bit of extra DPS with our amplifier for the drones. So I'll take this out, see if we can find any targets, and see what we can do with this new Vexor II setup. Alright, scanning down our first target here with the Vexor II. Got one signal, and it is a rupture interdictor. Okay, well, we could probably take that if we land around 30 kilometers, kind of kite him around. We'll see what happens. He's probably sitting on a gate here because it was next to an ANSI gate. We'll warp in here, see about the distance that we are off. Yep, he's got his bubble up. Oh, and we got, no, that's a cap. Oh, yep. Got a Balghorn and a capsule here, and that capsule is giving me some dirty eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my micro warp drive and scoot on through the gate here. Hopefully they can't tackle me in time. We should be able to get right up under 5 kilometers and get through unscathed. Yep, there we go. Real nice. I'd like to try and take the interdictor ship on the gate, but I don't want to deal with the Balghorn who can web at 30 kilometers. So we'll move on here, see what else we can find. All right, a couple of gates further north, we are coming up on another interdictor ship. I didn't have time to scan it down, but I did see it was 2 signals, and then usually that's going to be an interdictor. So we'll see what happens when we land here. There's not as many people in local, and we'll see if we can do what I wanted to do with the rupture interdictor and try and kite him around. Okay, yep, we got another Fiend here. Gonna land on his bubble at about 30 kilometers. That's about max range for a Fiend bubble. And what I want to do at this point is I probably outspeed a Fiend with a medium afterburner because I think I go about 3,400 kilometers with the micro warp drive here. So we'll approach something in the distance and just drop our drones on it with the extended drone range and see if those things can kind of put some damage to work before this Fiend closes the distance. He is catching up pretty good here, so he might be large afterburner. Yeah, he's going real nice on the straightaway here. We're gonna have to be real careful. Let's hit our disruptor, get our tracking disruptor going, make sure he can't hit us. Yeah, oh, he's got us webbed. We are webbed. We'll activate the DCU just in case he's gonna start applying that pressure. But we are able to pull away from the web, and it looks like he is a large afterburner because he's not able to maintain on our orbit here. We're going to orbit him at about 20 kilometers, which is just at the tip of his range, but I don't want to orbit too wide because my disruptor range is about 24 to 25 kilometers, and I don't want to let this go. We are taking some damage into our armor here, so we'll activate our medium armor repair and throw on our battery to kind of save some capacitor. I'm actually very surprised that with a level 10 tracking disruptor on him, he's still able to hit us through the tracking disruptor and apply enough damage to us to kind of pressure. Hopefully our drones can kind of tear through his shield. We'll load up another bombard here shortly. But meanwhile, at least we can stay out of range of that web and kind of kite him around. We are mitigating some good damage. We are back to almost full armor. So we'll probably turn off the armor repair pretty soon here, try and save some capacitor. There we go. Fiends are going to be shield tanks, so as long as we can get through his shield, he should drop really quickly after that. Still sitting at a nice 20-kilometer range. He's not going to be able to catch up to us because we're not going in a straight line. He has no inertia with this large afterburner. And it does look like his capacitor is kind of wearing out over time here. He is yellow boxing. We'll turn off our repair, try and save some capacitor. We are dropping down to about 20%. Yeah, we're going to need to activate it here. Just a little bit at a time, just to keep us about half armor, over that half armor threshold. If we can wear him down, he might run out of cap and not be able to fire his weapons. So as long as we have enough capacitor for our tracking disruptor, we should be pretty good. But we are dropping down here 14%. Let's get ready to load our drones for another bombard, see if we can burst down the rest of his shield. And we want to make sure we don't run out of capacitor and lose our micro warp drive. If we lose that range advantage, he's going to tear us to pieces. Okay, one more bombard. Let's go. Come on, battery. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. If we can get that battery off, we can get a couple of repairs and throw another tracking disruptor on him. 6% cap. All right, hit the battery, hit the repair. Maintain our orbit, maintain our micro warp drive. In our range, we just need to get out of his shield. If we can get him out of his shield, should be good. Need to take that shield down before our battery runs out. We're not going to be able to heal or keep our speed up. Come on, a little bit more. Let's go, drones. Really close fight here. I can't afford to deactivate any of my mods. Battery's running out. Come on, 10% cap. He is capped out also. Looks like he's yellow boxing. Okay, he's pulling away. He's deactivating his disruption bubble. He's lit low shield, and he knows that he's going to drop real quick as soon as his shield runs out. Yep, so he's going to warp off. All right, we'll call that a draw. Man, what a close fight, though. That cap battery coming off cooldown right there at the last second saved me from destruction. And he might have been able to finish me off, too, had he waited another 5 seconds. But then again, he was going to be vulnerable as well. So, good fight. And great engagement there on the gate. Glad we got a 1 versus 1. I have switched over to my Fiend, and I'm going to be trying to make my way from AOA space over into SHH space. This is right on the border, but there's nobody in local, so we should be good to just warp straight over to the gate and pop through. And we do have 9 over in local here, so we'll have to be careful of a gate camp on the other side. Yep, that's what I was afraid of here. We got a Nestor, Mauler, and Carrier combo. We got a little triple team here, so we're going to come back through the gate before they have a chance to lock us down, and we'll just warp away over to safety so we don't have to deal with this gate camp. Oh, wait. Did they come through the gate as well? Got the same triple combo here. All right, let's do the same thing. Let's pass back through and come through. I didn't know that they could pass through the gate that quickly, especially with the Dictor bubble up. Unless my worst fears are confirmed. Oh my gosh, they got us pincered on both sides of the gate. This is unbelievable. I don't know if this is a multi-boxer or what, but man, what a trap there. As soon as I went through, you know, that other system in local was almost completely empty when I went through the gate. 10 seconds later, I come back and there's 3 ships right there with a bubble up. Either that was perfect timing or just an excellent trap. I am kind of stuck here at this point because they got a carrier and a bubble on both sides. I can't fight my way through the bubble. I'm not going to be able to get past this carrier fast enough because they have a medium afterburner. Let's try and burst our way away from the bubble as fast as we can. Hopefully they're not paying attention. Archon's locking on here. Yeah, he's going to burst us down with that bombard. Let's activate our shield. I don't have a DCU. Wish I had a DCU right now. Dragon Chant's not going to help us anyway. Yeah. Man, what a perfectly executed trap there on that gate camp. I had no chance to get around that. Whew. Well, good job. The Fiend is going to be on cooldown, so Let's try something a little different this time. All right, I am back, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is a Celestis Interdictor. I've been taking some huge hits to my IP lately with all these ship losses, so I'm looking for a budget ship that can do very similar things to the Fiend, and this is kind of what I've settled on. So let's go over the build real quick. The Celestis is great because you can use any turret ship in the top slots there. So I went with lasers because I have the highest skill in lasers. We still have our MK9 warp disruption field, so largest bubble we can get. I fit a narrow resonance scanner. This is just to save a little bit of money instead of going with the Explorer resonance scanner. We want to save IP and ISK as much as possible. Then I went with double Imperial Navy tracking disruptors here. I went with 2 for now to see how it does, just because I'm going to be using an afterburner, so I'm a little bit worried about them being able to track me. I'm not going to be going as fast as my Fiend is, so we got double tracking disruptors on here. We'll up our DPS a little bit with 2 C-type heat sinks in the low slots, and throw on a medium armor repair just for any damage mitigation that might get through, and an extra battery to save us on cap because we're not running that large Nosferatu like I am on my Fiend. Okay, let's click over to the rigs and we can see we've got tier 2 rigs here. I've got 3 laser burst aerator rigs. These are going to be much cheaper than going with the level 3 ones. And then on the engineering side, I've got 3 auxiliary thruster 2s. And this is just to mitigate as much IP and ISK as we can and make this kind of like the cheapest Fiend fit I can find or I can put together. And while my Fiend costs about 2,000 IP to replace everything at this point, this ship's only going to be 42 IP total after discounts. So you can see I'm running a little bit low here, 8,700 total. We need to go with a little bit of a budget build. And I want to try this out and come back to an older ship. And we're still rocking a level 30 focus crystal implant and level 10 GUs. So this shouldn't be too bad. Let's try it out. Okay, so one of the main ships that I'm going to be hunting with this Celestis Interdictor is going to be mining ships because our bubble will prevent them from getting away. However, I did not expect it to scan down a Rorqual right here, but we'll warp in anyway and see how we can test out our DPS with a max level implant, see what we can do and kind of test him out because the system is pretty empty and we might as well try this out as our first engagement. Do I expect to be able to DPS a Rorqual down with a Celestis Interdictor? Absolutely not. Not a chance in hell, but let's have some fun, right? This thing is 48 IP, and the great thing is that you can run into anything and not really care that much. You can replace this really quickly. Okay, so we've landed in the mining belt here. We'll turn on our bubble as quick as possible. There we go, so he's not going anywhere. Doesn't look like he has any offensive drones out right now, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll maintain our orbit, and we'll try to charge our laser implant as much as we can with the 2 heat sinks. We're not going to need to use the tracking disruptor, so that will save us on cap, but we'll kind of see how much damage we're going to do to this. It's not going to be great DPS, but if he's, AFK or not running any defense at all, we might be able to kind of wear him down. Meanwhile, we'll keep our eyes on local to see if it spikes. I know that eyes out is going to be just a capsule little camera, so I'm not too worried about that. But if any other players start popping up into the system, then we will keep an eye out and get ready to warp off. While this is only 48 IP, we might as well not waste our time. Okay, so he is yellow boxing us here. We'll see if he's running any defensive modules. Yep, there it is, large neutralizer. That's gonna hit us real hard. Doesn't look like he's trying to DPS us down at all, but we are going to run out of cap pretty quick. We'll throw on our battery just in case that second cycle of large neutralizer comes around. I probably should have activated a little bit later. But something to keep in mind is that the battery, you cannot have your capacitor battery drained from a large neutralizer. It only drains your main capacitor. So as long as we have some cap left, we can continue to plink at him with our weapons. And maybe he'll drain his capacitor as well with that large nuke. Although I'm sure it'll take a lot longer. Oh yeah, 2 hits with that large nuke. You can see we're already down to about 15% cap. And we're probably going to have to deactivate our afterburner pretty soon because what's the point? Yeah, let's try and save as much cap as possible. No tracking disruptors. We just want to hit him with our weapons. And we are taking him down. I don't know if he's just playing coy because he doesn't look like he's repping at all. I can't imagine a Rorqual fit that doesn't have any kind of rep. but you never know. I have seen much weirder things, much weirder fits. So yeah, see, now we're struggling to turn on our weapons here because we're completely drained out of cap on that large nuke. The good thing is that he's going to be draining his capacitor as well by using it. So maybe over time we can kind of wear him down. It really depends on if anybody's going to come in and save him or if he's going to launch some drones. So we'll continue to play with him here. We are still charging our laser implant, still getting it up to our max DPS possible, and eventually our heat sinks will come off cooldown. So the optimal thing to remember here is to just watch local, watch for spikes of people coming in, and just try to maintain as long as you can. I definitely don't think I'm going to take this guy down, but what's the point of warping away here? So we'll continue to plink away, see if we can get our max DPS going. I did panic a little bit when I hit that low 15% cap earlier, so I started to try and warp off, but kind of changed my mind because if he's just draining our cap, there's really no threat there. It's just kind of a nuisance. So we are going to have to try and recharge back up to our top 84% capacity, I'm sorry, not capacitor, 84% implant charge for maximum DPS. And we'll hit our battery here to get some more shots off just so we don't lose what percentage we've already gained. See, it's almost topped off there with that yellow bar. About 84% is max. I think it's going to give us around 1050 DPS total, which is not great. It's serviceable if you're doing like a small gate camp, but definitely not for fighting a Rorqual here. Our heat sinks are coming off cooldown. Oh, there we go. +1 in local. We're going to go ahead and deactivate our warp bubble here. I'm assuming with that name, Captain Yeet, he's coming to save this guy. I'm not thinking this is some interceptor warping through, so we'll just kind of take, oh, he's got us disrupted. Okay, yep, that was the little koi trap there. He was trying to disrupt us. Let's turn on our afterburner and get some distance and get away from this disruptor so we can warp off when his friend comes in. This was definitely a little Rorqual trap here. Okay, get some distance, and we should be almost out of range. Yep, out of range there. Let's go ahead and warp off.
Drive active.
And as we warp off, the Visaggio drops. So, yeah, he was just playing with us. Kind of a lame engagement, I guess, in the end, but something for our Celestis Interdictor to play with on the way out to nullsec. Unfortunately, I will forever wonder had I been able to take it with my Fiend, but I guess we'll never know. Dang. Alright, let's find a real target now.
Warp drive active. Warp drive
Scanning down another mining belt here, we've got a Covetor 2, so we're going to see if we can warp in on it and lock it down before it gets away. The great thing about this ship is we don't need a ton of DPS, we just need to get off that warp bubble, and then we don't have to worry about having multiple scrams or multiple disruptors in the mid slots. So just one mod to lock down the mining ships and we should be good to go. So we'll warp in here. Looks like he's almost directly on center, that's always perfect. So as soon as we land, we'll hit that bubble and we'll move out to our optimal range for our lasers and start blasting away. We want to be careful, make sure he doesn't have a large nude as well, because that could damage us over time, because we don't have the max DPS as our Fiend. But it doesn't look like he's super tanky anyway, so this should be a pretty quick engagement. And just another example of how that warp bubble is so much better than running a scram or disruptor. Like, no amount of warp stab is going to save you from that bubble. So we'll take him down real quick here. And there we go. Covetor 2 down. Not too shabby for a 48 IP ship. We'll loot everything. I always hit loot all when I'm used to looting battleships and not miners. We don't want that ore, but that's fine. Take out the pod, get another kill mark for our Celestis Interdictor, and then we'll check out the loot, see if he had any good mods. Once our disruptor bubble comes down here. There we go. Warp away to a planet. And since we're immune on the way, we might as well open up our inventory and check out what he dropped. Nothing really good. This ore is not going to be worth anything, and most of our inventory is, yeah, only about 2 million. So nothing great. Again, these miners usually don't carry anything worthwhile. We do it for the kills. And you can see almost a 1 billion kill log for that Covetor 2, and our ship's only worth about 200 million. So definitely is positive on that. Okay, scanning down another target here in a cosmic anomaly, and we've got an APOC Navy. This will be a real test because we don't have the same DPS as our Fiend. Our Fiend is rocking about 3,000 DPS, whereas the Celestis Interdictor max is going to be about 1,000, so might be a little bit too tanky for us. But honestly, I just want to see if we're able to orbit it with the double tracking disruptor and maintain without getting hit. That's the main test that I want to see in this engagement. So we'll warp in here. I didn't want to go with a micro warp drive just because it increases our signature radius by so much. We don't have any bonuses to reduce that signature radius. So we went with the afterburner. It saves us on cap overall, especially because we're using two tracking disruptors. We're a little bit too close. We'll try and get some distance. We need to be over 150 kilometers away from this so that we can warp on top of him. He is locking us on right here, though. We got to be real careful. Yep, these guys can hit from that far away.
Warp drive active.
So we need to just warp off. Yeah. We need to get to a position where we are either right on top of him when we land, or we're over 150 kilometers away so we can warp to him again with our scan. So we'll warp in on this anomaly at 100, and hopefully that'll put us over the 150 kilometer range, and then we can warp to him from there. That'll be a lot safer than trying to pinpoint exactly how far he is off the anomaly and warp in, because we don't have a stealth ship here. We can't pinpoint it that way. We're just gonna have to wing it. So let's try this one more time. Honestly, I just want to get on top of him and see if we're able to mitigate that damage with the double tracking disruptor. This is mostly a test more than it is trying to take this ship out, especially because it looks like he's not AI ratting. He's definitely paying attention. He locked onto us right away. So we'll warp in at 100 kilometers, see how far off of that ship it puts us, and see if we can warp to him with our scan from there. Okay, this is a little bit better here. Yeah, we're over 200 kilometers here. We'll open up our scan, hit that target. There he is, still there, and we'll just warp about 10 kilometers away from him so that we can start our orbit immediately. Ah, he's taking off. Dang it. Okay. He didn't want to play with us on that one. All right. Well, we gave it a shot. Okay, round 2 on the APOC. This time it's just going to be a regular APOC striker, not a Navy. So this is definitely a good target for us to try and test ourselves out on. Much less defensive than the Navy ships. We'll warp in here. There is 11 people in local, so we are going to have to keep an eye out for people coming to save him if we're able to tackle him. But let's focus on tackling first. Same process follows. I don't want to warp into the anomaly at 0 because I don't want the rats to lock me down. So I usually warp in at about 100 and just hope that they're far enough away where I can double warp to them after that. Most of these APOCs are not going to be 100 kilometers off. Oh, looks like we're pretty close though, so we'll just afterburner over to him. We need to be within 29 kilometer range for our bubble to affect him. Let's get on over here. Come on, come on. Turn on our tracking disruptors just in case he tries to hit us on the way. And we should be good. Okay, inside our bubble now. Let's maintain our orbit. I'm going to be orbiting around 16, 17 kilometers away from him. We don't have that bonus inertia like on the Fiend, so we are going to have to set our orbit for 14, and we'll swing out a little bit longer, about 16, 17, which is it's not too bad. And we are doing pretty good DPS on his shields here. He's not locking us on yet. He might just be AI ratting, but I will take that for sure. Doesn't seem like he's too far away from the rats because we are being hit with some NOS, with some debuffs here from the rats. We know it's from the rats because he's not locked onto us yet. He's definitely AI ratting. So not ideal. I would like to check and see if our tracking disruptors do anything, but since they're not going to have an impact on this guy that's not shooting us back, we're just going to turn him off and save capacitor. Yep, taking him down pretty good. Almost max level on our laser implant, and our heatsink, second heatsink is almost down. I have been trying to stagger them now instead of hitting them both at once. I don't know if that is more effective or not, but might as well. And yeah, we're at full on our focused crystal implant. Just in case he does lock us on real quick, I'm gonna throw those tracking disruptors on with the battery. But I am a little bit worried about these rats coming close. What I don't want is for these rats to disappear, because he is still AI ratting. We want them to be hitting him as well. And because he has a larger signature radius, he might draw some of their aggro and help us out with some DPS. So every once in a while, I think throwing the tracking disruptors on this ship just to prevent him from killing the NPCs might be a good idea. I just don't want to run out of cap like I did on the Rorqual. But yeah, we're getting down into hull here. We'll keep an eye out. Local is spiking. We're up to 15 in local here. Not sure if he's calling for help or not because he's not locking onto us, but we are definitely being noticed in this system. So we are onto hull. We'll continue to maintain our orbit. I don't want him to quick lock us and take us down. Okay, all the rats are dead. And a new wave is spawning, something that we have to be very careful with. Some of these smaller ships can fly in here real quick and lock us down because we aren't going to be able to deal with them as good as our Fiend. Let's try and take this thing down. At about half hull now. Still not locking onto us. Definitely AFK. Throw the tracking disruptors on it just so it can't take out any other rats on the way to him. And we'll get ready to loot scoop and take off. I am going to have to drop these ores in order to get any of his inventory though. So we'll drop that real quick. Come back out here and we're going to have to try and reapproach his wreck. Not my container. Yeah, about 20 kilometers. Oh, we got a ship landing here.
Autopilot engaged.
Looks like a cruiser-sized ship, so I'm not too worried about that. And it is pretty far off. We might be able to grab this loot in time. We're 16. No. Now we're going the wrong way. Okay, turn off the bubble. Turn off the bubble. Let's get the hell out of here. And there's the carrier coming. Yep, there's the capital ship dropping right on time. So screw this loot. Let's get the hell out of here and take the victory. Okay, bubble down. Let's warp off. And we're out. Okay, perfect. Nice. So our first battleship kill with the Celestis Interdictor. Unfortunately, it was an AI ratting ship, but you know what? Right place, right time. And it just shows you, you know, you can just put something together real cheap, get out there, and you put yourself into danger, you can find these opportunities. So while we didn't get the loot, we'll check out the kill mail here and see what we got with our Celestis Interdictor. 3 billion is kill mail for this AI ratting ship. Not too shabby. I will take it. Yep, all offense and no way to stop us. Very nice. All right, let's warp off and see what else we can find with this ship. Okay, we've got another asteroid belt here, scanning down. One signal, could be an Orca. Nope, it's another Rorqual. Unbelievable. I'm finding all the Rorquals in my Celestis and none in my Fiend. But we'll warp in here and just kind of play with them here. I'm not really interested in spending 20 minutes trying to plink at a Rorqual's shields with this 1000 DPS, but we'll warp in and see what we're working with because the system is empty. So might as well try it out and have some fun. Okay, let's see if we can lock him down here. He does have his mining drones out. Okay, in range of our bubble. Let's hit the bubble. And not in time. Okay, that's fine. Didn't want to fight you anyway. All right, moving on. Okay, we got another mining belt here and another Rorqual. Okay, at this point, I'm just pissed. All right, I'm so tired of this. I'm looking for coveters, maybe an Orca, and now I'm finding all the Rorquals. Whereas when I'm in my Fiend, all I can find are coveter 2s and BCs running anomalies. Oh my gosh. Okay, 12 people in local here. Not really looking for a long fight with this ship because there's so many people in local, but we will mess around with him for a little bit. He does have his mining drones out. Let's throw on our bubble. And let's just, you know what? Let's just plink at his drones. Let's see if we can DPS his drones down, because screw this. I'm so tired of finding Rorquals. Hit. Come on. Get him. Let's approach instead of orbit. See if we can take down some of these mining drones. This is out of frustration at this point. Come on. Man, I can't even hit the drones. I think these manta ray ones are the expensive ones, so this could put a huge chunk in his wallet just by taking them out. I have no intention of trying to kill this shit. Ah, okay, there goes the drones. All right, fine, be that way. We'll move on. But if you think I'm not marking these systems down to come back with my Fiend later, ooh, just wait. All right, we are done with the Celestis Interdictor for now, and I am back in my Fiend looking for a good target here, and another Rorqual pops up. We're in a completely different territory, but we're going to go ahead and jump in here on him anyway. We got 7 in local total, but we'll see if we can DPS him down. I'm curious to see how much damage we can do with our Fiend here. This tops out at around 2800 DPS, so we'll see if we can wear him down. I do have that large NOS, so I'm not worried about a large newt hitting me. And we'll see. Hopefully these other 5 players in the system are AFK and not going to come and help. But we'll go ahead and warp in here. All his drones are up, and it looks like he's going to try and warp away, but we're going to get our bubble off just in time. Okay. Yep, it looks like he's locked down. Let's go ahead and throw on the DPS here. We'll watch for any other drones that he's going to launch. He does look like he has... No, he's locking us now. He's yellow boxing us. That was our drone. I kind of got a little distracted by it real quick. It's going to take him a little bit longer to lock us on because we are in a Fiend. It's a smaller signature radius. But we are going to maintain our orbit, and we will apply as much DPS as we can to this ship. If we can get through his shields, he might go down much quicker. I know most Rorquals are going to be shield tanked, and this doesn't look like too sturdy of a capital ship. We might be able to plink his shields down if he doesn't have any repper. So we are only rocking 1 heat sink though, because I do have that cloaking device to get through gate camps. So a little bit less DPS than optimal. And he is going to be launching some drones out now, but these are going to be the curator drones. I am not worried about those. We can maintain our orbit at about 2,000 kilometers or so, 2,000 meters per second, and not have to worry about these drones hitting us. We have that large shield, we have that large NOS to mitigate any of this DPS, and I'm not worried about those drones at all. Okay, almost halfway through this Rorqual shield. Very interesting. I don't think he's repped yet, but we will pay attention and see if anybody warps in here. The good thing is that we are maxed charge on our implant, so if a ship warps in here that's small, we can jump on them real quick with max DPS and try to burst them down. But we'll continue to hit this, keep our implant fully charged, kind of put some pressure on him. Our capacitor's not going anywhere, our shield's not going anywhere, so this is kind of like a bait situation. I'm going to use this guy as bait and go fishing for some ships in this system. Maybe somebody will warp in here. Really no reason for us to warp off at this point unless something huge drops, and if it does drop on us, we are going to have enough time to get away. Okay, we do have 1 more in local. Could be coming to assist. Keep an eye on that. I've already used my dragon chant, so I'm not worried about that cooldown keeping me from warping off. And we got an Ashimu. Okay, that's good. I can take an Ashimu. Let's lock him once he lands. And we'll try and deal with this. We don't want him capacitor draining us or webbing us down for those curator drones to hit us. So we'll jump on this Ashimu as fast as possible. And we're going to approach instead of orbit. We want to DPS this down as quick as possible. He does have a web and a disruptor on us. Yeah, Rorqual's going to get away. That's okay. I'm going to take down my bubble so that I can warp off if I need to. I do have some warp stability from my nanocore, so I'm not too worried about him locking me down. And we are DPSing him down really well. He is in hull. And yeah, with that 84% charge on our implant, we're just going to burst right through that Ashimu. So no chance for him to rep up and drain us. Oh, okay, Talos. I can take a Talos. Yeah, let's lock that one too. Lock, lock, lock. Come on, drop. I can definitely take this. He's got railguns in the high slots. There's no way he's going to be able to hit us at 16 kilometers. So we will throw our NOS on him and hit our orbit. Ah, okay, now the carrier drops. All right. Well, we can't take the Talos with a Science C on our backs, so let's go ahead and warp off here. Yeah, that sucks. I think I could have taken that Talos down too. All right, well, that's not too bad. We got the Ishimu. We got something for our time. Nice. Okay, let's get to a safe spot and check out the kill mill. Okay, let's open up our combat log here. Check out that Ishimu kill. Yeah, not too bad. 1.3 billion for the Ishimu. Not too shabby. Okay, I'm going to be warping through nice space here, trying to exit, and I just wanted to demonstrate real quick. Sometimes you need to know what fights not to take, and when you land on a gate and there's a bomber, which is one of the most defensive battleships in the game, it's really not worth it. It's either bait or it's just going to be way too hard to kill, so you might as well just pass through. And this is a good example of knowing what not to fight. I wanted to include this because you don't have to engage every single target you come across. Sometimes people are just going to be out there waiting for you to attack, and then you get locked down, and then other people on the other side of the gate are going to come after you. So be aware of your surroundings and know what you can fight and what you can't. That being said, I am going to try something a little bit different here. I'm going to warp to the next gate at about 100 kilometers, and I'm going to set up my disruption bubble to see if I can get him to chase us and be 100 kilometers off the gate. I think that if we can get him that far off and he's not running with a speed module, we might be able to take him down before he gets there. I'm not too worried about an Abaddon bomber hitting me because they don't have great tracking, especially for how fast we're going to be going. So we can maintain our orbit, and it'll be like tackling him in a cosmic anomaly, which I think I could take him there, but it's really going to depend on how fast he gets his warp off. If he warps to this next gate before I get my bubble up, he's going to go right through the bubble. So we'll land 100 kilometers off, and we will see if we can stop him here. Oh, no, we got a Rupture Interdictor. Okay, they've got another ship, so they're going to be chasing and locking us down. We can't do our little trap here, and we're not going to have enough time to see if the bomber lands on our shield anyway. So while the Rupture is a little bit far off, we will align back to that other gate and turn off our disruption bubble and get ready to warp. Okay, here comes the bomber. And yeah, it looks like he was going to go through the shield anyway, so not too much of a loss there. But there are some times where if they're a little bit slow to warp, you can lock them down and get that bubble up before they start their warp to that next gate, and then you can get them to stop 100 kilometers before the gate instead of right on top of the gate. And then you might have a chance to circle them. All right, I am up in Northern Fountain looking for a target, and I've got a Hurricane prototype. It's been a long time since I've seen a Battlecruiser ratting anomalies in nullsec, but we'll warp in and we'll see if we can lock him down. He's probably a newer player, especially with that ship. It's probably not going to be bait. There's nobody else in the system, so we'll warp in here, see if we can take him down. Still using the same Fiend build. I'm not sure if he's going to be long range or close up. But we can come in right here close to the anomaly center and probably get to him real quick. Okay, so landing here. Scrolls is the player. And yeah, right inside of our bubble. So it looks like he was doing a close range fit. Probably going to be a little bit more defensive. We'll maintain our optimal 16, 17 kilometer orbit, and we'll try and burst him down as quick as we can. Not sure if another wave of rats is going to spawn here. He is locking us down, so it'll be interesting to see if he can hit us with those cannons. This is a medium cannon ship, I believe, so it might have a little bit more accuracy than some of the large weapons that we're fighting. If he can lock us. Okay, now red boxed on us here. A new wave has spawned. We'll have to deal with the rats a little bit as well, but our 3,000 meters per second orbit should be pretty good to avoid any of that damage. And since we popped our dragon chant, he's going to unlock us, and we should be good to take him down. Yep, nice. So real quick fight. Battle cruisers usually don't last when I'm built to take on Navy battleships with my DPS. And I'm not too worried about the rats here, so we will pop his pod and then pick up his wreck and scoot out. Okay, got some blue items there, not too bad. He's now warping off, so he wasn't autopiloting. Okay, take up that second kill mark. We'll warp off and we'll check the kill mill. Open up our inventory, see what we got. About 32 million in loot, not too bad. That extra medium micro warp drive, I could probably use that on another ship. So we'll probably save that. Let's check out the kill mail. Combat log. Okay, so 239 million, nothing great. Coveter 2s are worth almost $1 billion, so just a quick little engagement here. Definitely was built defensive to be ratting these high anomalies. All right, let's move on to the next fight. All right, I am on my way out of Null, back into low sec here. We are checking the map to see about how many systems off we are. About one more jump. Okay, doesn't look like anybody's in local, so we should be pretty good. Oh, we got 1+1 in local here. Could be heading to the next gate that we're going to, so we will stop at the gate and throw up our bubble and see what we can get. Turn on our adaptive shield here just in case, and we'll put up our bubble. Okay, so let's see if anything runs into the bubble, and we'll be ready to hit our cloak in case it's a big ship. Remember, you can hit that cloaking device and it'll turn off your bubble about a second or two after you cloak up fully. And then you don't have to worry about the long cooldown of the bubble. So if it's like a carrier that drops on us or something like that, like a dreadnought, we can just turn off our cloaking device on and hide and wait it out and then warp off. No, we got a nearest 2 here. Let's jump on it real quick. Not sure if he's gonna stealth up. We'll try to get into optimal range with our approach. Looks like we are in bubble range here, and we're just gonna try and DPS him down as fast as possible. We'll hit our heat sink and our dragon chant, lock him down, and just DPS as much as we can. We don't want him getting through that gate. Okay, 2 shots, 1 more shot. Very nice. Cool. Okay, let's loot it up. Let's kill the pod and let's see what we got. Looks like I lucked out on timing there. On my way out to Losec, just caught ourselves a little transporting ship here. Let's get over to his wreck and loot it up and see if he had anything good. Oh, we got some nice little goodies here. Very nice. Let's open up our inventory and check out how much that was. We'll turn off our bubble. There is no one in local, so I'm not too worried about it. But we'll get to a safer spot so we can open up our inventory and not be distracted.
Warp drive active.
Very nice score from that last second nearest. I was on my way out of Null and we got 300 million in loot on the way. I will definitely take that. Yeah, 1.2 billion on the kill mail for this ship. Right place, right time is sometimes better than skill. All right. One more engagement here. We are scanning down an asteroid belt. We're going to see if there's anything. Yep, there's the belt right there. We got 1 signal, so it's a bigger ship. Probably not a Coveter 2. See if we get another Rorqual. No, okay, Orca. So Orca is definitely an ideal ship for me to try and take out. We'll warp in here and see if we can grab him. I do have a sensor dampener on. We are rocking our 4 mid slots now after the update. So we've got double heat sinks and a sensor dampener for our new build. We'll see how that goes. I'm not too worried about the Orca applying DPS to us, but it will be nice to, in case he has a large newt or a large nos, something like that, to use the sensor dampener after the Dragon Chant ability and see and kind of keep him off of us for longer. So let's get our bubble up, and we are on top of him here. We do have a lot of people in local, so I am not looking forward to ads, but we'll put as much DPS on him as we can and try to get through his shield. The most important part is to get through these things' shield. And we are running EM damage on our lasers, so this should help us out a lot, but this is a much tankier Orca than I am used to. Yeah, usually I'd be at least halfway through the shield by now, so he's definitely got a lot of defense on him. You can see we're almost at 3,000 DPS with double heat sink and Dragon Chant active. Our implant is still charging up to max, And you can see him having a hard time locking onto us because of that sensor dampener. So that does help. I would like to try that out on some of these battleships as well, and maybe using it against a cruiser, activating the Dragon Chant and then putting the sensor dampener on them to give us the extra time. But for now, you can see he's still locking onto us. It's taken him forever to lock on. We're about 1/3 through his shield, but he is repping. He does have a repper. And he does have a tracking disruptor on us. So our new optimal is going to be 13 kilometers. We're going to tighten up our orbit here. I'm not too worried about any DPS that he's doing. And we'll have to keep an eye out and see if he has any webs. If he has webs, that could slow us down for any drones that he launches. But if he's not going to web us, then we can still maintain this 13 kilometer orbit. And his tracking disruptor is not going to do anything except for drain his own capacitor. Definitely a very, very tanky Orca here. We are still sitting at about 1/3 of his shield, and he is repping hard. So hopefully with that tracking disruptor on us and our large NOS kind of draining him over time and his rep going, we can kind of cap him out. That might be the only chance we have to take this thing out. He's got so much defense. Wow. I'm usually hitting these things for about 4,000 per hit, and this one's only about 2,000 to 2,500. And he does have some Valkyries that have launched to try and take us out. But he doesn't have a web on us. He can't get a web on us to slow us down. So those Valkyries are really not going to be able to do anything to us. Orcas don't have the drone damage bonuses or drone tracking speed bonuses. So I'm not too worried about his Valkyries being able to track us. We are going really quickly. 3,000 MS around him. Still not half shield on this thing. Oh my goodness. This is taking way too long. But I will say, if you're going to build an Orca, build it like this. This is amazing. Yeah, he's calling Belt 3 now, so we know he's going to be calling for help. We know someone's coming in. We got to be prepared to warp off as soon as possible. If we can just get through his shield, though, hopefully he runs out of cap and we can get through his shield. And then we could do a lot more DPS in his armor and his hull. No point in activating the sensor dampener here. Well, we will activate it just in case, but I don't really think... Yeah, because he's still yellow boxing us. It looks like he's running out of cap a little bit. So every time he's going to run out of cap, it's possible that that sensor dampener makes it harder to lock onto us again. But actually, no, I take that back. If he's not going to break his lock on us, then I don't think it'll matter. But our heat sinks have almost recharged here, and we are below 50% of his shield, so it is looking better. We might be wearing him down over time. Man, this is the tankiest Orca that I have ever fought. I think there are Navy battleships that I have fought that have been less tanky than this. I really would like to know what this guy's build is. He does have us disrupted. So I don't know if that's a long range disruptor or a scram. It's probably a scram because now we're in 13 kilometer range of him. And I'm not worried about a scram because we have the afterburner. Thank goodness it's a scram and not a web though. He's launched some bouncer drones. Those aren't going to do anything to us. Those are large drones. Those are going to miss. Not too worried about that. Our second heat sink is active. Our Dragon Chant is coming close to off cooldown, and we might be able to edge him out here. Really surprised that nobody has come in to help this guy yet. 19 people in local now. Watch, I'm gonna get a full fleet dropped on me here. Ah, so close. Man. He's definitely repping. You can see his shield going up every once in a while. So he's just using whatever capacitor he has left to rep. Our capacitor is dropping pretty good. We're at 40%, even with a large NOS. So we know his is low because we're not able to NOS out as much as we usually do. Okay, doing a little bit more DPS now. We did give him a nice shot into his armor there. So his shield dropped real quick. Yeah, we can just get rid of his shield reps. This should be good. That tracking disruptor is doing nothing but costing him capacitor. So I do not mind that at all. He's such a large ship that I'm not worried about the speed. Okay, we've been scanned. Okay, you know what? You know what's really funny is somebody's scanning me down, but he said in local what belt I'm in. They could have gotten to me, 5 minutes ago, but that's okay. We are getting some of our capacitor back, but we are just not able to edge him out. Unbelievable. Okay, there's a nice shot into his armor. About half armor now. Okay, looks like we're getting him down. He's going down now. No shields, unable to rep. Definitely running out of cap. Come on. We've been scanned. We know they're coming. Here comes the slasher. Oh, come on. I'm not worried about the slasher. We can get this guy. We can get him. Into hull. Orcas do have a very high HP in their hull, so this is going to take longer than you would think. I did use my dragon chant there, so we are on cooldown. We can't warp away anyway. Come on. Max implant charge. He's still repping, still gaining capacitor. Man, unbelievably tanky. I cannot believe he's holding on this well in hull. This is amazing. Only doing about half of our DPS. That was a nice shot, 7,000. We'll lock onto this slasher. If we can get a nice straightaway shot on the slasher, we might be able to take it out. Oh, and the Science C drops. Oh, I gotta take off. Okay, let's approach in the distance. Cancel our bubble. And let's get out of here before this Science C starts locking us down. Man, halfway into hull. Unbelievable.
Warp drive active.
And we're gone. Okay. Very nice. Wow. Super, super tanky Orca. Very nice job holding on that long with the amount of DPS that I was put out. I don't think I can get much more DPS out of this ship. So very nice job. No big kill for us today, but we did get off and we will live to fight another day. Alright, that'll be it for this video. Once again, I want to thank the people who have sponsored me with ISKN items for this month. Really appreciate it. It keeps me going through these losses. I also want to say thank you to Achieved and Hale, who you saw their live stream at the beginning of this video where they did mention me. Really appreciate it. Probably the highlight of my YouTube career so far is having the big YouTubers like that shout me out. So really appreciate that. And the meme is just for fun. I did enjoy it, and I hope you got a good laugh out of that as well. If you liked the video, feel free to send me a like, subscribe, hit that bell for more videos in the future. I am going to do a lot more PvP and get away from some of the tutorial things that I've been doing lately, because PvP is kind of the bread and butter, what I enjoy anyway. So if you have any other ideas for some discounted IP ships that I can use, I'd really appreciate that. I don't know if you saw earlier, but I'm around 8,700 IP left, and I do have some special projects that I want to save IP for. So if you have anything that is like a lower end IP ship that still performs well, let me know in the comments below, and I will see if I can put something together and use it. Until then, thanks a lot for watching. Fly safe and have fun.